pivotal Game 5 in Carolina tonight in the Stanley Cup Finals, and the NHL draft is rapidly approaching. We'll talk a little bit about all that. We'll look a little bit into next year as we now sit in the middle of the offseason for the Florida Panthers. Of course, they're used to still playing hockey this time of year, not this year in 2026. What's up, Florida Panthers Daily? AJ Sheridan back here with you on Thursday, June 11th, almost through another work week. I'm packing up the U-Haul, getting ready to make my move out to the Midwest, but I am still with you every single day right here, Monday through Friday on Florida Panthers Daily. So go ahead, if you like the content we have been putting out, go ahead, subscribe down below. And as we do on every Friday, we respond to all your comments right here on Florida Panthers Daily, part of the fan arch community. So go ahead down below, get those comments in, like, subscribe, 5-star review, all the goodies to help us keep the lights on here throughout the off season. And as we do every single day, we're going to look back on Panthers history, and I've been doing a lot of games that have happened on certain days, but the NHL draft is rapidly approaching. It is right around the corner, scheduled for June 26th. You can catch all the action on ABC, ESPN, all the up-to-dates, and we will keep you updated as we approach here on Florida Panthers Daily. And I'm going to mix up Florida Panthers history just a little bit, just so we can start to put our focus a little bit to the NHL draft. And starting next week, we will be really starting to dive in on what the Panthers might do with that number 9 pick. We've talked about Dylan Larkin. He, of course, requested a trade from the Detroit Red Wings, and there's reports out there that the Panthers have already given their quote-unquote best offer to the Red Wings to see if maybe they can sway Dylan Larkin. And I think if that is the case, that number 9 pick will be included in that trade package. We'll see how it all plays out. But today on Florida Panthers history, when we look back, I'm going to look back on some of the first round draft picks, top 10 picks that we have had in Florida Panthers history. I mean, you got the likes of some guys on this current team, and we'll get to those in just a little bit. But I want to bring the light to the Panther great, Ed Jovanovski. He was first overall all the way back in 1994 for the Florida Panthers draft, and he helped build the foundation for what this franchise is. Obviously still involved with the team now, and there wasn't a lot of success with the Florida Panthers for a long time. Therefore, we have had a lot of top 10 picks throughout Panther history, and that's what we're looking back on in Panther history today here on June 11th. You got a guy like Jonathan Huberdeau, who obviously helped build what is currently in Sunrise. He was part of the President's Cup winning team. Bill Zito came in, made a power play, a statement by trading away Jonathan Huberdeau, the all-time points leader in Panthers history at the time. Bill Zito said, we're going to get more physical, and that is what the Panthers would go on to do. But you also have the 13th overall pick with Spencer Knight a few years ago. It took a while, and the arena, now in Amerant Bank Arena, finally knows not to say Knight during the national anthem. That was one of my biggest pet peeves ever since he moved on from the Florida Panthers. People would still say it in the arena. Maybe you hadn't been to a game in a long time and you were just still used to that. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. How sick, how tired of it, how quickly did you become tired of hearing Knight? But he was another first-round pick for the Florida Panthers. And then you want to talk about this core group of guys on this Panther team. A guy you're going to get back healthy next year. A guy who just played very well in the World Championships, and he was drafted 2nd overall in 2013. That is the captain, Sasha Barkov. Then you got another first overall pick back in 2014. A core player on this Florida Panthers team. Signed the extension, said he wants to be a Panther for life, and it looks like he will be. The first overall pick back in 2014. It was Aaron Ekblad. Number 5, he was the first shirt jersey that I had, so I always have a special place for Aaron Ekblad in my heart. Then you got another guy who was teammates with Alexander Barkov in the World Championships just a week or two ago, and that is Anton Lundell. People call him Mini Barkov, maybe because he's from Finland. He was the 12th overall selection in the 2020 draft. He is now a 2-time Stanley Cup winner. And then you got Mackie Samoskevich on this Panther team. He was drafted in 2021, 24th overall by the Florida Panthers. So a lot of high draft picks in Panther history because of the lack of success of this franchise there for a little bit. But you got the guys who are now building the core for. We've been looking back on this day in Florida Panther history here on Florida Panthers Daily every single day, Monday through Friday. And a lot of those memories, especially this time of year, that's why I do it this time of year, is a Cup final win, and we're past the Eastern Conference Finals. And those were some great memories that we had in those playoffs runs on this day in Florida Panthers history. None of it would be possible if the Panthers didn't hit on a lot of those draft picks, like second overall Captain Barkov, Aaron Ekblad with the first overall pick, Anton Lundell with the 12th overall pick. And again, the Panthers currently holding the 9th pick in the upcoming NHL draft. That'll be taking place in Buffalo on Friday, June 26th. So 2 weeks from tomorrow, the NHL draft will be getting underway. We'll continue to dive in a little deeper here on Florida Panthers Daily, because that's what we do every single day, Monday through Friday. We keep you up to date on everything you need to know about the Florida Panthers. And coming up here over the next 2 weeks, we are into the home stretch before the NHL draft, so we will keep you up to date. Maybe if that number 9 pick is moved for a guy like Dylan Larkin, your first place to go is right here on Florida Panthers Daily. Subscribe, turn on those post notifications. That way every day at 11 a.m., you know that we are going, and you don't forget. You catch us every single day, part of the Fan Arch community. My social medias also are AJ Sheridan Radio, and I'll keep you up to date on those. Let's look forward to next year with the Panthers a little bit. Obviously, you're getting guys like Barkov back. Lundell will be there. Bennett will be there. You have the Martians. You kind of know what the top 6 will look like for the Florida Panthers. But what will that 4th line look like for the Cats when the 2026-2027 campaign rolls around, assuming and hoping that the Panthers can stay more healthy than we did this past season? There's a lot of talent for only 3 positions on that 4th line. Of course, AJ Greer, we talked about the other day here on Florida Panthers Daily. AJ, I like him, but I think he's going to go get his money somewhere else, and I told you the reasons why a few days back on Florida Panthers Daily, and good for him. The way he played last year, getting more ice time with a lot of injuries on the Florida Panthers, he deserves more money, and the Panthers just practically and realistically can't give him the money that he does deserve on the open market, and that's what makes free agency so awesome. But there are a lot of guys that will be fighting for those final 3 spots. You got Jonah Gadovich. He's kind of a guy, he dealt with injuries last year. After 10 games, he went down with the injury and never returned. He's a guy that you expect to come back from injury and probably be there on opening night for this Florida Panthers team. You got a guy like Luke Cunnin. You got Nosek. They both re-signed. So you got a lot of talent. You got Cole Schwint. You got Sandis Vilmanis. So it's all these guys. Who do you think will be on that 4th line on opening night when the season rolls around here in a few months? Man, it's already June 11th. Season will be here before you know it. We got the NHL draft coming up, and then next thing you know, we're going to be into the preseason. I think you got to lean with the guys who have proven it a little bit more. I mean, you got the young players like Vilmanis, and I think he might get the nod based on what we saw last year. Cole Schmidt, I think, might be a little bit too young. Maybe a Jasper Boquist. I think you go with him, you go with Gadovich, and then you can kind of bounce around those other 2 and move them in and out, and you see what's working throughout the ebbs and flows of the year, and hopefully you're not dealing with as many injuries as we did just a year ago. But that's what makes sports so fun, is they're unpredictable and you really don't know. So that's why we give you our predictions. I give you my predictions here on Florida Panthers Daily, but I want to hear from you. Drop them in the comments down below. Who do you think out of those guys I just mentioned will be rounding out the Panthers' bottom line next year? And then tonight, Game 5 inside, Lenovo Center now in Raleigh. Used to be PNC when my brother went to school up there. That's why I thought that. But it is a big Game 5 in the NHL Stanley Cup Final tonight. Of course, Carolina taking down Game 4 the other night, and now we got a big one. And this one, a lot of the times, decides who wins in best of 7 series. You can look up all the numbers in Game 5, and the home team, you got to think, is going to have the advantage in this one back in Raleigh. Tickets to this, which kind of caught me by surprise, are cheaper than it was get-in price for Game 1 and Game 2 in Raleigh. You would think a Game 5, just based on experience from the past few seasons, was the most expensive ticket. Those Game 5, Game 6s, when the series kind of feels like it's on the line, are some of the most tickets. Carolina is favored in this one. They're minus 162 on the puck line. Vegas is plus 136 on the puck line. Carolina's been good at home this year, 29-10-2, and they like to say the loudest fans in the South is what their quote is. The Caniacs, if you will, looking to create a storm inside the building tonight. And usually my best bet, I give you the money line. And I've been hot here in the Stanley Cup Finals. I gave you Carolina in 6 as my series pick after the first game. And today, I'm going to give you a player prop. Give me a guy by the name of Sebastian Aho. he is going to have a point in this crucial Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals tonight. That's my best bet. My social medias are AJ Sheridan Radio. If you want to let me hear your thoughts on the best bet if it doesn't hit, or just let me know in the comments down below if you agree, disagree, or what your best bet is tonight here on June 11th in Game 5. Tomorrow's a Friday. I'm packing up a U-Haul. But until then, Panthers fans, let's go Cats.